Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space RAM. I'm going to time warp a bit to get us to morning. Hopefully that doesn't drain the battery. It shouldn't, since we're attached to the, whatchamacallit, launch stability enhancers. In any case, actually let me turn that off a moment. I want to take a look at the landing lights. Yeah, they're not that bright, but they help. Alright, yes, actually the reason they're not that bright is because we have a light on the landing pad. I forgot about that, on the launch pad rather. And this is meant to somewhat emulate a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with the landing gear on it. And that is because, if you hadn't heard yet, there was a successful test with the Falcon 9 landing on the barge in the ocean after delivering a payload to orbit, or at least I believe it delivered a payload to orbit. I'm not actually sure. I didn't actually fully read the news on that. I just heard about it from some friends and forgot to go look it up later. So in any case, this is KSP 1.1, the preview build still, so just so you know, that is what's going on. That's I would have the version on screen. Oh wait, yeah, I do have the version on screen. I forgot that it actually shows in the preview builds. This is 1.1.0.1196, so I don't know which build that is. I don't know how many times they've updated it thus far, but there's no payload in here. We're not actually going to take the second stage to orbit, although the second stage should be orbit capable. The first stage, everything should work. I actually haven't tested taking it to orbit yet. I am working on the landing system right now, because what's the point of building an orbital rocket thingy if the landing part doesn't work? I mean, really, that's the whole reason I'm doing this right now, is for the landing. And if you look down there, there's actually something that's landed that says it's a Falcon 9 something. I can't quite read it because my mouse is over it, but you can. Yes, that's because I've actually already done a test with this. And also, okay, so I have this open because I need to fire action group 1 when this is at 1,100 liquid fuel, and then I need to hit X at 1,000 fuel, at 1,000 liquid fuel left. So we're getting down to that. 3, 2, 1. Oh, shit. No, wait, I shouldn't have cut that so soon. Oh well. And 4, 3, 2, 1, cuts. A little early, so we have a little more fuel than I intended. But there we go. We've detached the upper stage. I've also discovered hitting F11 displays a temperature overlay. I don't know if that was there before, but it is now. The second stage, if we did... Oops, that's not what I meant to do. The second stage, if we did wish to use it, is available. It does function. Go ahead and fire the engine. As you can see, I can boost away, full throttle. I can also ditch the fairings. I also can deploy the solar panels, although I haven't set an action group for those, and I should. But we don't care about that right now. What I care about is the Falcon 9 rocket stage that we're going to be landing back. It has some lights on the bottom, as I already pointed out, and you can see there they are. We also have landing gear, which... due to a bug in the pre-release build, they deploy kind of backwards. They were also really difficult to place correctly. Hopefully the landing gear are fixed by the time 1.1 releases. If they aren't, well, they fucked up pretty bad if they aren't by the time they release this, because that's a pretty obvious, pretty noticeable bug. I notice also, actually, I need to figure out a way to fix this. I think I might need to use a interstage decoupler kind of fairing. Not fairing. Interstage decoupler kind of thing rather than just a regular decoupler if I want this to smoothly come off. Actually, nah, I'm not really, I don't really care about the shroud still being there for landing. Like, it doesn't really bother me that that's still there. We should be alright. Oh yes, the electric charge is not running out because we do have... Will it show them if I... No, it won't? Okay. Yeah, we do have some, what do you call it, RTGs on here to help us with that problem. Oh man. This game's beautiful. Sometimes I forget just how nice it looks. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and time warp just a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and engage retrograde SAS. So it's going to try to keep us on retrograde rather than straight up and down, rather than just SAS. I'm also going to go ahead and engage the gear. I believe... Yeah, okay, there we go. I thought I had the aerodynamic forces already engaged, but I did not. Alright, we're on... We only have 5 engines engaged right now. We're going to wait till we get to about 6 kilometers up, and then we're going to fire full throttle to slow down. As you can see, this handles re-entry fairly well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, full throttle. And this should slow us down. 6 kilometers might have been waiting too late, however. This thing is still a test, still a work in progress. and it looks like that was not quick enough. So, lose the engines and everything, and of course these tanks and everything are very, very weak, so when it impacts again, everything goes boom boom, except for some aerodynamic pieces and one RTG for some reason. Alright, let's see if I can... Nope, I can't. Okay, so let me go to map real fast. And yes, there is the other piece, which I'm going to go ahead and switch to, because why not? It's there. And it looks like it's... That's not what I clicked. What? Switch to this. Switch to it. So that's another bug. Oh, there we go. Now we're on it. Alright, and it looks like we're still actually in orbit. We're falling quite bad. Well, we're not in orbit, obviously, but we're falling quite badly, but we are aiming towards space. Oh yes, I did deploy one solar panel. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Actually, I can probably safely fold that away just fine. Yeah, and it looks like we're going to run out of fuel pretty quickly here. Let's take a look. Oh wow, that did a weird effect as it pulled in. Yeah, because we're re-entering pretty steeply now, and not terribly steeply. Also, I just noticed I put RCS thrusters on here, but there is no RCS fuel on here, so that's something that definitely needs to be fixed. I also believe that I need to put more fuel on this stage because, as you can see, we didn't really have enough fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and survive re-entry rather than survive re-entry rather than try to go to space, because obviously we're not going to space today. But with that thruster engaged at maximum, facing backwards, we can survive re-entry. Of course, this thing will just crash into the ocean, so that's no good. Beautiful. Actually, let's go ahead and engage retrograde control. Time warp a bit. See how fast we get going. We're slowing down quite a bit. I mean, we slowed down quite a bit. We might actually be able to save this or save part of it. Probably not. It's probably too weak. But it would be fun to try, right? Okay, 4-3, 2000. I don't know exactly how long that fuel will last or how much it can slow us down, so I'm only going to engage at 800. Oh, wow. Ooh, pretty. And the effect got stuck on. Yep. So that's another bug. That is why this is a preview release version rather than a... I don't know if you heard that, but that was someone going by way too fast on a motorbike or something like that. So real fast, I do want to point out that I have had some success with landing one of these before. Some success meaning that the engine still blew up, the landing gear blew up, but the rest of it did survive. Also, you might have noticed this is only one fuel tank. This was an earlier version. This also didn't have RTGs on it, so it's probably completely dead now. Yeah, it's completely dead. But it is possible if flown correctly. Basically what I'm saying is I need to get good. And before I do that, though, let me go do the... What are they called? There's like the big round batteries. I could just have looked through batteries rather than searching manually, of course. But I forget that. Oh, I'm gonna have to rebuild the fairing, aren't I? That sucks. Yeah, that's another thing that I hope it's a bug and they don't mean to do it, because if they mean to do it, that would really suck. But I noticed that... See, unfortunately, the only RCS tank that's this big is huge, and we don't want that. We don't need that. We just want tiny little roundified ones. And I'll put them on, one on each side, like right about there, and then I'll move them into the vessel more. But in any case, one thing I noticed earlier when working on this is that the fairings would stay like watch. I'll take this off. They're still there. They're still there in the like ghost form, but then I go and put it back on, and it's like, oh, you need to rebuild the fairings, and it's like, oh, thanks, little jerk. Come on, cancel, undo, undo. There we go. Right back on board where it should be. Everything's set up. So yeah, our engine's on the main stage, by the way, if you didn't notice already. These are it's 9 whatchamacallits? They're the swivel engines. So yeah, swivel engines. And we use 5 of them during landing instead of 1 like the actual Falcon 9 would, because they are not strong enough on their own. Or at least, well, See, one of them could theoretically work on its own. It's just, it wouldn't work very well, so I decided not to do that. I'm going to go ahead and save this as version 3.4 at this point. And also, I'm going to change that where it says coast to 6 kilometers ASL to 8 kilometers ASL, since 6 did not go very well for us. And I did not do that, you stupid thing. You know what? I tried to click a button. Oh, see, now it says 82. Yeah, I tried to hit 2 to go to the, whatchamacallit, the widget. Someone told me what those are called, because I forgot what they were called. Tool. I'm just going to say tool, because they're tools. But, there's gizmos, that's the word. Yeah, gizmos. I tried to go to the second one, but did not want to. Alright, I figured that looks alright, like it's still sleeker, but not totally cheating by just, you know, like having it all the way in there. Figure that's alright. Yeah. Oops, I just hit undo. So much for that. Hold on, because I do want to put them in a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, that looks alright. Alright, so here we go. Also, the engine placement. I want to point out something a little bit about the engine placement down here. Originally, I had the Reliance, which are slightly higher ISP. No, not slightly higher ISP. Actually, I'm not sure. They are... Yes, they are... no, slightly higher ASL ISP, but slightly lower vacuum ISP. But they also have more thrust. And I originally had 8 of those on the outside and just 1 swivel in the middle. But I decided to switch it up to this. I also need to try doing this with, what's it called? Doing this with a vector in the middle. I was thinking of replacing the center one with a vector, and then the outside ones with the Reliant here, this, right? And then I would reposition things a bit and work on the gimbal a bit, and that might make a better first stage. So I'm definitely going to try that for version 4. But for right now, this is version 3.4, and I'm just going to save it and try it like this. Alright. Here goes nothing. Full throttle. Stage. And now we begin the slow journey up. Because it is rather slow to start, and that's part of why I'm thinking of switching to using Reliance and a SSME. Oh, is that as far as that can go? That can't go all the way to the edge. Huh. Oh, it can't go all the way up either? It can't go past there? There's like an inner bounding box that these can't go out of. Didn't even notice that until just now. I wonder why they did that. Interesting. Alright, well, here goes. We're going to do kind of the same thing again. I mean, we could try to do a launch to orbit, but then we'll be coming down in the ocean, and this thing, well, actually, probably technically has a higher chance of survival in the ocean, but, right now we're just testing the landing stage, not testing really trying to get to orbit or anything, like I already said. So we're just going to launch straight up and come straight back down. Also because that will be the most intense re-entry profile, I believe. And therefore testing it this way. Well, actually, I'm not 100% sure on that, because we might gain enough horizontal speed in a more realistic launch to where it wouldn't be. So I'm not so sure about that. In any case, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cut. Oh yeah, I cut that too soon. It should have been at 1 and 1000, not at 2 and 100. Oh well. So the test won't be 100% the same, but it'll be close enough for me. There's just enough aerodynamic forces to be taking us off course right now, I think. I'm guessing that's what's causing it to tilt slightly. That is so cool, though. Like, this might actually have had a chance to go into orbit even from a vertical launch. Might. Probably not, but might. I also forgot to include more fuel on it when I was doing that editing just now. I was supposed to do that. Oh well. I'll do that on the version 4, because like I said, I'm going to go and do a version 4 after this. But in any case, we need to time accelerate up and then back down. I'm going to tell this to go on retrograde. Oops, okay. Yeah, it's going to overshoot a little bit. That's okay, though. Alright, do I have aerodynamics? No, now I do. Okay, gear down. Yes, I'm putting the gear down this high in the atmosphere because I'm insane. Alright, so like I said, 8 kilometers is when we're going to be... What's it called? 8 kilometers is when we're going to be engaging the engines at full power. And we're going to hope that that's enough to slow us down. So, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Hi, other stage. Alright, full power. It's going to go and die. We're going to come down, hopefully a bit slower, hopefully a bit safer. Alright, 100. 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. Alright. 44, 43, 42, 41. Timed impact is too close. Too close. Alright, let's switch back to stability assist, because we're about to... Okay, rough landing. But the concept has been proved possible with this design. Because if I was just a bit smoother with that landing, it would have gone perfectly fine. And look, we only lost 4 engines out of 9, so that's cool. Alright, so this isn't something I normally do, but I'm going to show you something I'm doing. I don't normally do this either, but I also normally wouldn't show it if I was. But in any case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and modify the save file using, whatchamacallit, Notepad++. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every instance of Liquid Engine 2 and replace it with Liquid Engine. So I'm going to replace all of these. 55 occurrences replaced. And now I'm going to save this as a different file name. And it's going to be v4. And then, when I go back to the game, I can come down here, get rid of the untested, because I don't want it. And I did something wrong. What? Liquid Engine -2? Huh. Interesting. Alright, so I went through and replaced all the occurrences of Liquid Engine -2 with just Liquid Engine, and that seems to have fixed the problem. However, that might be broken in some way that I'm not even aware of, so, you know, that's a thing to be aware of, because when you do save editing, things can get messy. In any case, what am I doing? I am going to engines, because I'm going to replace the main engine with the vector. So, let's pull that one out. Put this in. Beautiful. Put that way down there. We're going to have to limit the gimbal probably to, let's say 20. Let's say 20 to start. Chances are we're going to need to change it even more. We're going to disable roll, even though it wouldn't be able to do roll anyway, just as a precaution, basically. And we're going to move it up as much as we can without it noticeably clipping in there. Looks like that's about as high as we can, which means everything else is actually going to come down. So that's different. Oh yes, and I have all these nose cones on things, so it's going to be slightly more difficult to grab things. Not too difficult though, fortunately. Alright, so we're essentially just going to take this right the way down to about the same level. Actually, let's make it just a little bit higher. And then we're going to pull it out a bit. About there. And then we're going to do the same thing on these outer edge ones. Grab the cone. Oh yes, these outer edge ones, the thing that sucks about them is that their local and absolute are the same thing, so I can't drag them out to a corner. They have to just be like up or down. They're more difficult to move into the right spot, which kind of sucks. But fortunately, I think I can keep them. Well, see, I could keep them right where they are, but I feel like that wouldn't be proper. So let's actually take these and move them in ever so slightly. And then we're going to take the outer ones and try and line them back up. Because basically there's a square bottom to this. So it needs to have a square bottom. And hopefully that's not terribly difficult to do. That's close but not quite. See, that's close but not... Actually, that's like really far. Oh wait, no, that's... Yeah, the perspective threw me off for a moment there. Alright, so... That looks pretty close. It might be a little off, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say that this is close enough for me. One thing that is going to have to change, though, is these. Yeah, unfortunately, they have the same issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm thinking I'm going to replace them, actually, with a different aerodynamic piece. The other one of these cones, the one that is slightly angled in itself. So I'll take those right off. Oh, they have the landing gear on them. I do not want to mess with that. I really don't want to mess with that. I think I need to do this either way. It sucks, but I need to. Oh, that really sucks. That really sucks. Nope, I'm just... nope, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to let them sit there and be slightly wrong. Maybe if I add some on the thing itself. 4 of them. Not that way. That way. Maybe if I just add some extra nose cones. Just kind of... Oops, I don't want to... There we go. Using it like a shroud. Let's... Oh, I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay. That looks so shitty, though. Actually, no, it doesn't really. Actually, it does make me think a little bit of the actual rocket in that it has the, whatchamacallit. It has, like, the landing pieces that are further... Whatchamacallit. Like, the Falcon 9 rocket with the landing gear stuff on it is, kind of... has these weird... Like, they have this... The landing gear are very big. Much bigger than the landing gear in KSP. And they kind of have this extra cone base kind of thing that they come out of. This is, of course, very different and kind of bad, but it is at least somewhat similar. And actually, I just thought of something. Because I'm placing those on there, I was thinking about how I'd like to have a little bit more reserve fuel on here and be able to take it further to orbit without taking off the stage. Because we have a more powerful engine, we can probably handle putting more fuel on it, and that also looks a bit smoother and looks a bit better. And that reminds me, I need to come up here, take that part off, and put on... Where was it? What was it called? It's this one. I wanted to put on one of these so that that part has more fuel. Alright, we need to double check the staging, and also be really confused as to why this fairing went... Oh, shit. Fortunately, that's easily fixable. Yay. That's what went wrong, and I didn't even notice it till just now. That's great. Alright, well, like I said, fortunately, that's easily fixed. So, on the very bottom, we want... That's the one up top. Okay, we want these 4 engines. Those 4 engines are good. This needs to go up into its own stage. We need these for launch right away. Then we need this decoupler to fire after that. Oops, yep, right there. Then that, then the shroud. Alright, good. The really funny thing is that engineer thinks that I have a decoupler attached wrong and that I have an engine jettisoned before I use it. But, no, you're wrong. This just works differently than you expect. Okay. I wonder how the fuel feed is going to work from these. Or if it's going to feed at all. Because that might go wrong a bit. They each give us 180. So 180 times 4 is some number that I can't do off the top of my head. Fortunately, I have an easily accessible calculator. 720 fuel. So we could actually probably risk running the main tank dry if they don't fuel feed, and then while we're falling, we can transfer the fuel. That's assuming things don't go according to plan. I hope they go according to plan, though. I kind of messed up putting the putting the rocket back down on the pad. I didn't do that. Oh well. Yeah, I was gonna say it should take off a little quicker, not much quicker though, because it's still pretty darn heavy for the engines that it's got on it. I'm also gonna need to check that the gimbal range down there is in check. Alright, let's see. Are these draining first or fast or last? Don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and keep 700 fuel on board this time round. Yeah, that gimbal is a bit too strong, probably. Even at 20. But, like I said, we're just gonna... Well, yeah, we're going a lot faster, too, this time round. Yeah. That engine's too strong. Alright. Oh, wow, we're already... Alright. Alright, I'm gonna take it at 1,000. I'm gonna cut the outer engines. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and we're gonna cut this at 700. 750. How about that? Alright, and I'm gonna wait for the aerodynamic stresses to go away a little bit. Now I'm gonna decouple it. Alright. Oh dear. Let's tell that to face prograde. Oh dear. We bounced into our own thing. Yeah. Alright, so I can see just by looking at it that the gimbal range is definitely too much. Needs to be lowered by 3 degrees maybe. I think 3 degrees should cut it. I'm gonna take 5 degrees off of it. In any case, oh yes, I need these to go into there. All right, I don't know which tank that was. Oh well. All right, this should be the last one then. And yeah, we got way more than enough fuel this time round. All right, stability assist. Oh, you know what? Just fuck it. Let's just time warp it. Yeah, I know that's a bit cheaty, but psh, I don't care. All right. So we're going to want retrograde coming back down. And we're still above the atmosphere. There we go. All right. Like I said, we're going to want retrograde back down. I'm going to deploy landing gear. Let's turn on the lights for no particular reason. Aerodynamic enabled. All right. And we're coming down a little further this way. Oh, we've developed a spin. Interesting. Alright, 8 kilometers. Remember, full throttle at 8 kilometers, although we could probably full throttle later in the atmosphere now that we have a more powerful engine. Actually, I'm going to do 6 kilometers then. 7, 6, full throttle. Might have been too optimistic. No, we're doing alright. Alright, we're probably coming down too fast. Yeah, definitely too fast. No. Stability assist, you. Stability assist. No longer follow retrograde. Stability assist. Nope. We need to go down. Alright. Looks like we should have a pretty safe touchdown this time. Oh, fuck. Unless I fuck it up like that. Yeah. Of course the landing gear explode on contact because they're bugged right now for some reason. That's not going to fall over. Yeah, it's just going to rotate a little bit and then it'll be fine. So, yeah. Once again, this time even more thoroughly because that was a fairly soft touchdown. The only thing is that the landing gear didn't hold. That may be a bug due to the fact that the landing gear are a bit bugged right now, or it may not be. I don't know. But in any case, that went a lot better. So I'm going to change the instructions on this one. I'm also going to change the settings a little bit on it, on the pieces at the bottom. But otherwise, I think V4 is a fairly good success. Of course, I don't know about launch characteristics yet. But thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in space.